Yo, hey guys. Back with another live stream. Just the same format as normal today. 4 tables, Russian cash, 200 on GG. Continuing the challenge. As you can see on screen, I've updated the challenge so far. Just over 50k hands. Going along nicely. Win rate really healthy. Did start with some serious heat in the challenge, and a couple of bad sessions have brought it back down, but I'm expecting my win rate to kind of even itself out around 3 to 4 big blinds. That's what I've been winning at for over 1 million hands now. And yeah, let's get into it. Any questions you guys have got, then fire away in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just talk through my decisions, hopefully win some big pots. As always, just playing a bit of a hybrid strategy, really. I am part of a MDA-based CFP, but I don't necessarily use hard exploits against some of the better players in the pool. Just looking to use them mainly against the weaker players in the fish. I'm playing somewhat more balanced against the strong players. There is a danger when you do start to go for hard exploits in every spot that you just, firstly, are making, it's based on a lot of assumptions, probably over a small sample, maybe a few showdowns, so there's some like confirmation bias involved, and you kind of then, because of that, get things wrong based on those assumptions and start actually opening yourself up to be exploited, like exploiting yourself, getting re-exploited. And against the better players, if you do go too hard, I don't know, for example, say you just start opening the button with queen deuce off and 8% of hands, then they are going to pick up on it and fight back. Whereas the weaker players, so in this pool, for example, like the rate back grinders who are just obsessed with playing as many hands as possible, not really looking to exploit players, just playing a somewhat simple, reasonable strategy. You can get away with exploiting their weaknesses, and then just the fish in the pool, obviously you want to hard exploit, max exploit them as much as possible. But you know, the large chunk of the money you win in poker is going to come from recreationals and fish, so in every single spot you just want to maximise it and not worry about theory in the slightest. By not worry about theory, I mean, you know, obviously a lot of your decisions are naturally going to be based on theory if you understand the game, because you know you're gonna know what hands are good to bluff, etc., or bluff catch with. But ultimately, you just want to choose sizes, choose lines that are going to yield you the most money against fish. King queen off, just calling this time. Just a little bit of 3-betting. But yeah, get involved in the chat, guys. Say hello. Ask me any questions you've got. Talk about the hands. Yeah, I'm going to be here for a couple hours, so make the most of it. King queen, I would check raise with a club or backdoor diamonds if I had suited king queen. But I think this one then just wants to check call. And table 3 of the king 9. I'm just going to start polarizing now with a hand this strong. King queen without a club, I think we're probably just folding this spot. The king 9 I am just going to jam. Opponent's going to have, we're specifically king 9 here, no flush, like no club or diamond. I could do with a little bit of protection from some combo draws. And with the king kicker, I can get it in against worse 9x here. If opponent has 6s, then it's just a terrible line from them, but I think they're pretty committed here, so they're not going to be able to fold that many flush draws. So I'm just getting it in. I mean, that is just an absolutely tragic play. Oh, fuck off, man. Like, what is that? Oh, that is frustrating. I really do get quite annoyed when fish get paid off for making hideous plays. Like in the long run, we're just printing, but it's really frustrating. Like check raising there against an overbet with ace deuce with the flush draw. It's just absolutely hideous. I don't think I need to talk too much about that ace deuce and explain why it's hideous. The queen jack here, I think with queen jack here half pot, it's going to make a reasonable triple, like a hand to triple off on certain runouts. I think just half again on the turn. This combo is quite nice. I'm blocking some hearts and clubs, although opponent is going to have some ace-x of hearts and clubs, but there's just a lot of pockets, and these players in this pool, they don't mix enough pre-flop with like their pockets, their suited connectors, stuff like that, so they're just going to have too many folds in that range as opposed to a competent reg who is going to mix. Four betting ace jack off this time, low frequency. Four betting, cold four betting ace king suited. We'll start small with queen 10, table 1. Table 2, I don't love this against this typed player. But I am going to have to call one with jacks. And I think facing a turn barrel, I will fold this. Queen 10, I think I'm going to get half turn. Just try and fold out like some jacks and ace-x with no spade, quite nicely. Ace king suited can kind of do lots of different things, I think. I think I just want to bet quarter pot with range, simplify. Like checking back some aces here is going to be quite nice. And jacks, I think we block. Ace king just going to call against this check min raise. I think this is going to be some bluffs and then some like jacks and queens. Just going to flat here my ace and kings as well, and probably shove my queens and jacks. Yeah, that line there, that top player type is basically going to play two face up with ace king, ace queen, and not bluff enough. So I think with the jacks, my bet on the river's good because they might make some hero calls with ace king, thinking I've got like some missed straight draws, some king queen suited, some ace queen suited and stuff. A lot of action going on. Ace king we're going to check. I am checking aces as well here. Maybe even kings of a spade. Six is just flat. Facing shove with ace king becomes interesting. Now we have an easy check back, but I imagine we just lose to like nines and tens. But we're not going to be bluffing this combo. Like I'm going to float it, block like some king queen suited and stuff that we're going to bluff. Oh my god! Wow. X's features cool. There's a serious amount going on here so far. And sixes, obviously, we're jamming. Just going to keep the four table open, view open because there's a lot going on. Sixes, yeah, just an easy value shove. Expect we just get paid off here by aces and ace king. 497. Punished for 3 betting garbage. And the 10-8 we'll bluff now. Yeah, well played for my opponent. I'm gonna have a lot of weak ace-x and king-x for that line. Opponent played it well. So let's go over some of these hands. Starting with the sixes, yeah, I mean, is what it is. Opponent just made a terrible 3-bet pre. Wide. Just writing a note on this player so I know like, how wide they're 3-betting and potentially a size read as well, and they went so small. Kings were cold 4-betting. tens, I'm going to flat this time a bit deeper. And I think I probably want to just bet with tens. Kings is kind of a bit grim here on this board. Tens is interesting. Queen Jack suited with folding, it's 4-bet. That player type's not going to find enough 4-bet bluffs. I think I'm going to go for a check raise with tens and hope opponent is going to value bet thin enough. Ugh, I mean that, yeah, like a hand like that. There was a danger I'd miss value there. I'll talk about that again. Kings, I think we're just going to go half pot now. Just the opponent's just not checking back this block with anything that I'm losing to. I'm not checking back with sets, I'm not checking back with aces. So I think they're just going to have a lot of like mid-strength hands, like nines, queens, ace queen, ace king, stuff like that. Ace eight suit will fold. And even on the jack, like I'm not that worried about jack. So I think I've just got a value shove against like nines and some other weird stuff they're calling with pre that they shouldn't be. If they've somehow slow played a strong hand here, then so be it. But I think they've just got like a lot of nines and queens here. Maybe some ace king. Oh wow, yeah, they did slow play. Okay, I'll come back to that one as well. So much going on. The ace jack, I want to talk about that one. Like this ace jack, checkman raise and then into give up. Like it's just terrible because it's unblocking folding ranges from all the backdoor flush draws that I'm going to call one with. So it's just a mandatory bluff. Just a hideous play. Kings will start with half on this board. So we'll go half again with kings. The tens, yeah, this becomes really bad if this check becomes really bad if opponent doesn't bet like this hand specifically, like any heart hand. But I think I like the check because I think they're gonna have a decent amount of heart hands in their range, and the hands that I lose value from by checking might not even call. Like for example, I'm just gonna size down here on the turn with kings just because there's not really much I'm worried about now. Because if opponent does have a 10, then their two pair outs aren't live, like jack 10, queen 10. I prefer them coming along. That river's interesting. There's not that many missed draws that I want to check call against with when I have the king of spades. I'm blocking like king queen, king jack. So I think opponent's range is going to be a lot of pairs. I block king 10 of spades. So yes, they have some 10x, but they also have jacks, queens, sevens, 8, 9, 8. So I think I've just got a value shove still. It's just a bit of a grim river if they have 10. But I'm check calling anyway, and I don't think opponent's going to bluff. Like a lot of their missed flush draws as well are going to be like ace queen, ace jack with showdown. So I think there I prefer just value betting in those positions where they're going to have a lot of pocket pairs in their range. King queen will just show down. Yeah, but the hands that I lose value from with the 10s here, like king queen or king x, basically no heart, are probably doing some a reasonable amount of folding. And then by checking as well, it benefits from getting some bluffs from like pocket sevens, no heart, stuff like that. So I still think the check is the best play there. Ace queen, we squeeze against a fish caller. I'm going to start small and then potentially go into bluff catch mode, just because these players are going to float too wide and then bluff pretty liberally. Yeah, this is a pretty bluff heavy line from a fish. I won't be folding. They don't have ace king, they don't really have any two pairs, so they do have some sets, but not really that many, so it's just going to be pretty bluff heavy. So I'm just going to call and then call on any river, any turn and river. That does look quite scary with some flush draws, but they don't really have that many. I am going to go 1/10 and call a raise. Just the 1/10 does induce a few bluffs from fish. Aces will start small, could check this one back. So yeah, I'm just going to get 1/10 here. Okay, opponent did have a hand and underplayed it massively. But yeah, happy the way I played it. That line is bluffed quite a lot by fish. The raise flop, I mean, so I just don't have that many value combos. But the call pre-flop with ace 3 suited is pretty bad, to be honest. Yeah, if you ever see me kind of using a slightly different size to normal, it's just because I'm playing against like a big recreational player, a big fish, and I just want to exploit use a slightly different size. Here I'm 4-betting aces, again going slightly bigger. Instant fish. So I'm just going to go through the replays when we get some downtime and talk through any hands I've missed. There was the king's hand. Yeah, this king's hand. Yeah, I mean, opponent checked back the flop with eights, which I don't think is very good. They lose value from my overpairs that check. All of my like overcard hands have decent equity and are going to call one, so they like with eight specifically, like they unblock calling ranges from overpair some ace jack, king jack suited I might call 4-bet with. So it's just a slam dunk value bet. Like it worked out well for them. Sixes I'm going to check raise. Pre-flop calling with eights in these positions is going to be losing heaps. People are just looking at solver ranges too much and seeing that these pocket pairs call too much, but like in this rake structure, it's just going to be losing a lot, I think. It's my opinion on it. Now, not necessarily against me. It's probably okay him calling that against me because I'm going to call 4-bet the right amount, the right range. But really annoying they didn't value bet the flop there. That's just incredibly nitty pre-flop and on the flop. Because I'm going to be cold 4-betting appropriately, they do get to call eights more. Whereas large chunks of this board is going to cold call like a decent amount of like ace queen, ace king, jacks out of position. So therefore the cold 4-bet range is just going to be weighted massively to having like aces, kings, queens. Whereas eights value there does come from firstly being able to bluff. Like some bigger pairs on certain boards, like ace high boards, and get jacks and queens to fold. But also just has good equity against the overcards. Interesting with ace 4 here. I decided to call here 3-way. Suited ace playing well against 2 fish. And we are a bit deeper. Against this line, however. It's interesting. I think folding. Yeah, I think folding there. They definitely can check the flop with some overpairs to get check jams and check raises in, and that size is pretty strong. So I think folding, but my call there is fine. I was getting good pots with deep. Suited aces are going to play well multi-way deep. And here, ace 10 is going to raise big. bluffs, ace queen off with a spade, stuff like that. Yeah, so the king's v8 hand, just to conclude that one, I think my jam on the river is still fine. Like once they check back flop, because of how players kind of play, I think they are just going to be left with a lot of like queens, nines, some ace 10 suited, some ace queen, ace king, stuff like that. Just a bit of a caller for me. I did just call with a queen 5 suited because it was a min 3 bet, so don't think I get to fold. Now I will bluff if check to me. I'm going to use a pot size just to maximise my fold equity against like all of the medium pockets. Roll really high, so I'm 3-betting king 5 suited this time. It gets in there at low frequency. And start half on this board with range. And I think my hand's going to be give up now. I'm just going to choose bluffs from like my broadways, like my queen jack, jack 10 that's blocking opponent's strongest hands. But this one's not good because I'm blocking folding ranges from like pocket fives, some king queen of diamonds, some ace king. And opponents can have like a lot of 10s, jacks, queens here. So just going to prefer bluffing like those. I think we're just going to prefer bluffing those broadways. And this one will probably continue on like a queen turn and a diamond obviously, otherwise it's just going to be an easy fold. Ace king's interesting, 4-bet pot. Probably just want to bet smallish again. I'm not really worried about that many straights. Opponent does have some suited connectors in their range. 7-6 interesting. I think we check now. That's okay, that river. They don't have many flushes on the ace of clubs because a lot of their flush draws that call 4-bet's probably going to be like ace queen, ace jack of clubs. So actually they don't have that many flushes. I think they just got a lot of like 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, king, queen suited. So based on that, I think I might check my hand. Am I going to check my hand? Yeah, I'm going to check my hand. And just allow opponent to start bluffing like some 9s and 10s. It's probably like, I'm going to want some strong hands in my check range there because I am going to have a 4-bet range pre-flop like king queen suited, king jack suited, king 10 suited, ace 5 suited, ace jack suited, stuff like this. And they're going to be too thin to bet for value. So I think including a hand like this on the river is okay because I think a lot of opponents' range, when I check, I think this player's going to be good enough to value shove like worst 2 pair, like they do have 7-8 suited, 6-7 suited. They're not really going to be calling on this river with king queens like king X or like queens and jacks. So therefore I think my value is going to come from allowing them to bluff some like 6-5 suited, some pocket 9s, pocket 10s, stuff like that. So yeah, I think I like the way I played it. His call, for what it's worth, on the turn with queens, I think is a bit... It's probably okay for the small size I use. Because I am 4-betting, like against a lot of people in the pool, it's probably losing loads, but I am going to have some ace-5 suited and some ace-10 suited. That's gonna continue on that turn, but just queens, like blocking ace-queen off and stuff like that, it's not going to be the best combo. Here we'll go half, I think, with king-queen. I think this can go half or block. Jack-10 can go either way. I think I'm going to bet half again. King-queen, bet half, and Jack-10 against this player. This player's pretty tight. I think it's going to be quite thin to get 3 streets. They flatted king-queen suited in the blind, so I'm slightly worried they might have like queens and stuff here, but I think I am going to value bet half again. So it's just a lot of like pocket 9, 7-6, 8-9, stuff like this. King-queen's interesting now. Yeah, queen 10. Like, I didn't think he had a better 10 because he should be calling that against half on the flop. So it's a bit annoying. King queen is really close here. I think in these positions specifically, I can still go for a value shove, but it is thin. I think his opponent's gonna have a lot of like ace jack, queen jack, jack 9, queen 10. King 9 of clubs, like stuff like this. I think I can still go for value. And I don't think bluff catching there either is going to be that great on that run out. I think just betting for values for better play, the two options. Yeah, like these guys who call the small blind too much with like these offsuit Broadway hands and then just call the flop all the time, like just double barreling against them is such a profitable line, but just annoying he called like as wide as queen 10 there. That's just shocking. I am going to write a note on that. We are going to stab with sixes, just wants a lot of protection. 4-3 will call it, it's a tiny 3-bet. Easy fold. Ace-10 will check back and call any river size, I imagine, unless it's ridiculously big. Sixes we can fold. I'm gonna just bet small with ace-10. Try and get like a crying call from 8s. Ace-7 and block, a bit thin, but this hand is kind of a nice one to block 3-bet jam. Which we'll now be doing. I block here quite a lot with some nutted hands as well, like some flushes. If opponents check back the turn of a flush, then well played, but we're all in. Big with aces here against the fish. I was about to say, like, I think they call me a jack 10 off with a heart and fold without, or should fold without. So their understanding of the spot is not really sure how they're thinking about it, but that's not going to be great. I can tell you now about what my range looks like in this spot. That's not going to be great. like the straight's worth nothing. So even though it's this formation where I have a lot of offsuit hands, let me load the hand up again. Even though I have a lot of offsuit hands, jeez, run note on that. These games are just so exploitable against these fish, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's just not the best combo. I don't think. You just want to have a heart to call there. He's probably thinking I'm only shoving with the nut flush there, which is definitely not correct. And he might think I front load the flop with my flush draws as well in terms of check raises, but when he bets 3/4, I don't. I call a lot of them. So taking everything in consideration, I don't think that call's going to be great. Because of my size as well, like, I'm not betting that size on a river with that many of my bluffs. Like my Queen Jack off with a heart, I'm probably going bigger with that. But anyway, I just don't want to analyse it too much and get too caught up with it. I think my bluff's good. Call 4 jacks. King Queen, interesting one. I think just calling here with range is the best play. And not folding this hand when it's so high up in our range. But it might get pretty grim on that jack as well. It's going to be gets pretty horrendous because like a lot of 4-bet bluffs play like ace jack off have now improved, and I block like ace queen off. 10-9 will go big on this board. We are going to call again though with king queen, and probably be forced to call the river against this player who is going to find 4-bet bluffs. It's also a spot where aces and ace king does become a little bit thin. And they do 4-bet with, yeah, I think I'll probably win on ace king. Okay, so interesting spot. Interesting here with ace king. I might just stick this in. I think I'm going to stick this in because this player probably won't fold ace queen suited. Queen jack, interesting. Gets this size of only this amount behind. I might just fold this. I think I'm going to. And also he does have like 8s, 9s, 10s in range, so there's the reverse implied odds of improving. Wow. Get overcalled here. Overlimped and then called this. This is pretty crazy hand. Wow, that's just grim. Overlimped with aces. Well, I mean, he's just completely owned me. But what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, the river check of ace king, I think, exploitably speaking, it's probably bad. Because most players, now I'm not necessarily saying I do this, but most players are going to fast play the turn and shove their jacks shove their king jack suited and shove their aces quite a lot, just because of the nature of this board and how humans play and think. So actually ace king is going to be a pretty clear value shove on the river, because I have king queen suited, because I have ace jack of clubs, which he doesn't block. Like if he has the ace of clubs, it's probably a better check. Because I have queens, I can find some light calls here. There's not that many, there's just not that enough hands that he's losing to. But because I also know, that's what I said about king suited, because I also know about how these players play and think, and they kind of get a little bit nitty on the river, I am going to call king queen, because, or call lighter in general, because therefore their betting range, if they're not value betting ace king, is going to be bluff heavy. Giving up queen 10 against this player now. Check queens. Yeah. So, and it's a spot, like, gets earlier positions, king queen suited, well, king queen suited doesn't really call pre-flop, but in these positions does. And then they are going to have like ace queen off, they're going to have some ace x suited. Queens will just call. So, yeah. And even like their ace 5 suited, they're probably going to continue to bluff with, like the ace 8 suited at 4 bet sometimes, all these hands. Queens are just going to bet 3/4 and hope opponent calls with jacks or king jack or something. So this session so far has been absolutely manic. We are $100 up still. Really nice start, a few tough pots since, but overall I'm really happy with the way I played. I think that's the important thing. Don't be like, for those guys coming up through stakes, don't be results orientated. Have a plan in the hand. Understand kind of the situation. Don't just click buttons about your thought. And then, you know, it's not always going to work out. But at least you take consolation knowing that you had a plan in the hand, you had reasoning behind what you were doing. Too many people are short-term minded. I have that short-term mindset, like they can't cope with a losing hand, let alone a losing session. Poker, you have to see the long run. Too many people want everything now. They're too desperate to climb the stakes, make more money. Whereas it is a game of patience and discipline, and you've got to see the long-term. Outlook. And I was guilty of that when I was younger as well, for sure. But as you become more experienced, these things do become easier. Jacks, call a 3-bet, just flatting here. Don't really play any raises on this board. Yeah, I just think we call with the jack of clubs. Don't really see any point in raising. Not that opponent would fold ace king or ace queen, but I think I still want to call, because if they do have a bluff, then I want them to keep that in, like some king queen. But I imagine it's just ace king always here. We just have an easy shove. Not really sure what this is. It's probably some ace king. Going for some juicy raise. Juicy bet to get a raise, but obviously it's just, unfortunately, buddy, I've got the nuts. Yeah. Their size on the river of ace king is terrible. Just wants to shove. Nice pot. Like that stack pot ratio, like, was it 2/3 left? Just a pretty clear value shove with ace king. Sevens we're going to fold. It's this bigger cold 4-bet size. King queen will start half on this board. Could go start small, but just prefer half, and definitely going to continue on that card with 2 overs and the queen of hearts, and probably end up tripling this one off, I think. Probably on that river. The snap call on the turn, don't think it's, but I'm slightly worried about some ace jack, but I like having the queen of hearts here a lot, so I am going to shove this. I think he's just going to have a lot of like tens of a heart, stuff like that. Wow, just aces. Wow, that's great. Like just blocking queen jack of hearts, ace queen of hearts, and I'm blocking like folding ranges, like just gonna be a lot of jack X in range, tens, nines of a heart, stuff like that. So I think this combo is as good as any to follow through with, particularly the timing tell on the turn. I think they just, if they had a flush or a set, they're more likely to consider raising, but just the snap call is quite, like something quite weak, slash the way they don't really need to think, so it's going to be a lot of tens of a heart and stuff like that, and then it's going to fold a lot on the river. So I think my bluff is good and mandatory, and opponent just somehow had aces. Been all in absolutely heaps this session. Get involved in the chat, guys. Thoughts on the hands? Any questions you got for me? Ace 5 suited. In theory land, this is a 5-bet shove quite a lot, and I've rolled high, so I'm going to do it this time. But in theory land, it's pure, or as good as pure. But as soon as you're playing against an opponent who isn't, so it's in theory land, it's pure and it's kind of 0 EV. But as soon as you're playing against an opponent who just isn't 4-bet bluffing enough, which is large chunks of low stakes pools, then that's going to become massively minus EV. So you need one of two things. You can just avoid it completely, or you can just like down the frequency of your 5-bet jamming, just because it is still as good a combo to do it with as any. So against that player who I think is probably 4-betting enough, I'm just gonna kind of roll still a 5-bet bluff jam there, but just not as high frequency. Be just how I think about a spot like that. But against like a lot of the tight semi-reg type players in this pool, I won't be doing it. Ace Jack, just check calling against a fish here. Queen 4, don't mind betting, don't mind checking. Ace 3, let's 3-bet. 3-bet fold, I think. Don't love this hand, doesn't block as well. I don't mind 3-bet folding it, but just prefer like king jack off stuff against a short stacker, just blocking more of their shoving range. And gonna just check this board. I'm still ahead of some Broadway stuff. Queen 4 now, facing large overbet. I think we can be really selective, and we can just fold this. I'm just going to check ace 3. Don't really see any value in betting. We're ahead of like all of the queen jack, king queen, king jack stuff. Interesting bet on the river. Wondering whether I can call or raise this. I think think I'm like cool. Opponent's not going to fold a king. They're not really betting a better ace high, so I think they're just going to have a decent amount of like queen 10, queen jack, random stuff. And for the price, I think it's going to just about be okay. Oh god, as soon as they do it with that, then it's just criminal. But I mean, just wouldn't expect them to bet that. That's just. But what do you think? Like these, some of these players, just yeah. Delay bluff here with 10-8, and we'll follow through on most rivers. King Jack not going to be folding just yet. With the straight draw blocker and equity. 10-8 interesting. We'll just fold this combo, nothing going for it. Ace king, I'm just going to stick this in for this short stacker size. On this board it's better than checking, just getting caught by like queen jack stuff. Or gaining some protection from those hands. Basically get caught by worse. The king jack I think I can fold now. Aces, bit of shoving, bit of flatting. I've rolled really high, so I'm going to shove this time. Do more flatting against late position 4 bets. Imagine this is just kings every time. Yeah. Yeah, the king jack, I like my turn bet, just unblocking like tons of continues from worse hands. Like it's going to be just heaps of 10-8, 10 jack, queen 9, flush draws. So heaps we can get value from, worse king X. Once they check raise and then barrel river, they're just going to be value heavy. Some of their bluffs as well from like jack X of diamonds, 8X of diamonds are going to get on the river. So I think my hand's just going to be a fold. Ace king will call against this lead. Ace jack, call. Ace king. I think I'm going to go pot. I think opponent's going to be pretty weak here with like 9x, 6s, 7s, stuff like that. So I want to start with turn bet, which allows me to continue bluffing on another overcard or just any card. I just think that works well there. The ace jack's interesting. I think I'm calling again. I expect the opponent to shut down a lot of their 2 pairs on that river. It's just not a great spot to be bluffing now. Yeah. Nice combo from opponent, I think. Probably prefer overbet on the turn though. But yeah, reasonable candidate on the flop with some backdoor stuff going on. And then pick up equity, so I quite like it. I like to give up on that river. They're just gonna want to prefer bluffing on the river there, like a pair blocker, just blocking 2 pairs and sets and stuff. 4x, for example. I'm gonna stream for just another half an hour or so. So the way I do my streams, like if it's a bit more of a analytical play and explain like today is, I'll just go for a short time period just because it's a little bit more mentally draining, I guess, for me, but also a little bit more informative for some of you guys watching perhaps. So taking on all that information in one go is probably a lot if you're here to learn. And then when I'm just kind of in chill mode, not really giving as much analysis, then I'll just go longer streams, bit more entertainment based, I guess, or just you guys want to chill, watch some poker while you're doing whatever else you're doing with your day, then I'll go longer. But I think today I'm just going to keep it to an hour and a half. Because I am going to make this one a like play and explain stream for YouTube, so I don't want it to be too long. If you're not following any of my channels, then please do follow me on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. You can join my free Discord where you'll be able to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. Whenever I'm going live, whenever I'm posting videos or content. You can follow my blog where I just give my thoughts on my game, monthly analysis, interesting hands, stuff like that. And then you can also get access and keep up to date with all my offers, deals, rake back, affiliate deals, etc. So yeah, sign up if you're not a member, it's free. And all my links to everything can be found in my bios on all my channels. And yeah, not sure if I'll stream tomorrow. It's because Friday's relatively busy for me, but Friday's just there's just tons of ace-8 flush. I'm going to check here. I think tons of other guys who are streaming, like all of the GG streamer tag regs. So I'm going to bet ace-8 now. Just hopefully fold like bigger ace-X. Going to be quite nice. Lovely river. I think I'm just going to jam. Hope they have a 10. Maybe there's some ace-queen stuff. Sticky with like pocket nines. Raising king-queen suited against this big size. Benefits from fold equity against ace-X hands. Can get it in against worse flush draws. Doing fine against like 9s, 10s, jacks. Not doing good against that though. Seven, 8 suited. I think this one's going to play fine multi-way. I'm really deep against a small blind, so I'm going to call. Yeah, so I probably won't stream tomorrow, but I'll be back next week for 2 or 3 streams. The king queen flush draw in those positions, by the way, I think it's fine, just because ranges are wide. Just prefer playing aggressively. I'll just flat like worse flush draws like the queen 10 of clubs and stuff like that. Ace-queen I'm going to check again. Calling turn. 5s will call. Don't love it against a small blind short stack, but there's a lot of money against the big blind cold calling range. Implied odds of hitting a set. This player probably just going to be pair heavy here. I think for this price though I can call sometimes, just because their range pretty is going to be relatively wide. I need to be right like 1 in 4 times, so I have rolled high, so I'm going to click call this time. And they can just bluff pretty liberally on this board. There you go, nice. Start small with King Jack. We'll check, just give opponent an opportunity to bet. Jack 10 suited, I'm deep against this reg, so I'm flatting with the fish in the big blind. Yeah, this one just wants to check jam and get called by worse. Jack X, flush draws, protection against ace queen, like random bets from those hands. So I'm just jamming. Jack 10 will just call. Nice turn. Jack 9 will check. Jack 10 we're just calling. It's overbet. Okay. Jack 9 is going to bet 40%. Get called by ace highs. Don't think I can fold a flush here. Don't love it. Opponent's going to have a lot of full houses, I think. But when I'm blocking, when I have like 10x flush draws, can't fold here for pot. But it's going to be bluffs from like from king queen off the heart. He might still be value betting thin with aces with a heart, stuff like that. Straight, so I'm calling. Yeah. Interesting from her. I hate that river size with a straight there. Just absolutely hate it. Like, he's only really getting called by worse. By better, sorry. I might flat here with ace king because this big blind's really crazy. I'm gonna do it. This big blind's really aggressive. So I like doing this to get them into the pot. And when I'm deeper against the button, it just becomes better as well, because getting 4-bet, like obviously ace king suited is an absolutely fine hand, but I am going to have lots more flats here, so actually sometimes having this in my range for this type of situation where they're just going to barrel huge into me is really nice. 7-5 I'm going to overbet to try and maximise my fold equity against ace highs. I expect the opponent to go absolutely nuts on this board. I'm just going to have a lot of weak hands. I think block's good. Don't imagine they've got much once they check back turn. Might get some heroes here from like 7x. Might get some thin raises from some ace queen, ace jack. But yeah, just another way of playing hands. Like getting fish involved in the pots is going to be really profitable. Like with parts of your range that are just dominating them, so don't mind my call there. King 9 flush I'm going to raise. Yeah, the 8-9, like it's a paired board, it's a flush draw board, like getting caught by worse with a straight there, with when I had the Jack 10 flush, is pretty hopeful from opponent. On this turn we just block about, I think, high frequency with King 9, like, which allows us to still bet some of our 2-pair sets. Like when the opponent had 8-9, because we're deep, they might think that I've just got a lot of like jacks and queens pre, perhaps. Yeah, I think their hand's still worth a bet, but I think pot is just too hopeful, greedy, whatever you want to call it. Bayern, answer your question, mate. So the rake in these games is 9 to 9.5 big blinds. On my PBI, I get about 35% rake back, give or take. Geldbo, first time chat, hey buddy. I'm from the UK. Wow, this spot with kings. Wow, wow, wow. I think just flat. And navigate from there. Has the benefit of keeping jacks and queens in, which this under the gun player, they could be trapping with aces, but I think they've got just a lot of queens and jacks and ace king. I'm going to bet here. I expect the small blind to go absolutely ham against this, just because, like, really, what am I repping? The small blind obviously has aces all the time, but they've also got ace king, they've also got queens, they've also got jacks. So it's just the question is now, I think I have to check here because my queens, jacks, 10, stuff like that are going to check. Small blind's range here, I think it's just, are they going to play ace? They might play aces this way, they'll play it behind to trap. But going for stacks here with 200 bigs, it's going to be quite thin. That's an absolute dream river. Absolute dream. I get any bluffs they might have from ace queen floats, ace 5 suited. I get bluff money from that. And obviously if they have aces, they're still value betting. I'm going to raise, just the question is what size I want to go to. Just thinking what bluffs I have here. Do I have any bluffs? I think I'm just going to do this. Not really sure like what I want to do here, to be honest. Quite a weird, tricky spot. I think something like that's going to work fine. It's just a spot where I don't really have any bluffs. The small blind I think just had queens and jacks, so I probably missed some value there. But just taking into consideration, I'm playing against a reg. What my overall range looks like, just the hand's so weird that I think checking back the turn, when they still do have aces, like they definitely can have aces there. Just on such a dry board, they're going to want to keep the under the gun player still to act in the hand. So I think my check back on the turn with kings, which doesn't require that much protection. And also I still I lose any bluffs the opponent might have from their floats, and my hands are going to pay off one more straight on the river. But they might start folding some tens and jacks on the turn. Yeah, they're river size and fold. I think it's just going to be like jack and queens a lot of the time. Perhaps some like cheap bluffs, because it just looks like they just got so much. So I'm probably going to overfold like pocket pairs there. We'll start with half with 10-9. Buying that 9-8 hand, yeah. It was a weird one. Not sure how to describe the river bet. Like, the only benefit it has is they get to showdown easier, in terms of I'm not going to raise my nut flushes against the pot size there on a pair board deep. But I think because, you know, there's a little dynamic, like we're both good, like aggressive enough players, that I am going to have to make some lightish calls there. When they can find plenty of bluffs from just like queen jack with a heart, king, queen of a heart, stuff like that. So if I'm sat there with like jacks of a heart, it's going to be a pretty tricky spot. I probably have to call sometimes at least. Of course, we'll bluff half river. Just what size I'm going to use in my hearts. Yeah, 2 pair there's a reasonable call. I imagine I've just got a lot of hearts there and that spot, which is like what really am I calling the flop with, but for half pot, the price they're getting, calling ace jack there is good. 10-8, often going to check this spot, however, the fish is a big blind in my hand exactly. I'm just going to move away, deviate from that and bet. Queen 9 can go either way. I'm just going to RNG this one. I've rolled high, so I'm going to value bet it. King 10, we're pretty deep. So I've rolled high. I'm going to 4-bet this time. And in terms of size, I'm going to go like this. This gets in there sometimes. 10-8, we're going to call against the raise and check fold that turn when everything gets there. Now lose a set straights flushes. Ace jack, I think we're going to call. Yeah, we're just going to flat hit this stack depth, I think. Ace queen, I'm just going to jam. Ace jack, I think it's just going to be a call. I think we check back here. If I think my hand's good enough to give a stack, I can still get it in turn and river. This stack spot ratio. If they check again, I'm definitely going to be betting. I think I'm going to start with 2/3. Probably a lot of weak ace x, king x, opponent has like some 10s and stuff, but I think I'm just going to pick a sizing to win the money. This is just going to be a lot of weak ace x and kings. Excuse me, like king x. So just easy shove, I think, on the river for value. Probably folded. Queens maybe. King 10. King, queen suited, mixing. 4-betting this time. I think against some of the tighter players, King suited can play better as a call. But against the regs, just going to play what I understand to be correct from pre-flop ranges. Ace 10 will start small against what looks like an absolute whopper, playing 53, 27, 8 over 80 hands. That's a tricky one. I think I'm going to check, potentially bluff river. So I do beat some king jack king 10 here. I'm tempted to call. It's just going to be pretty hideous if opponent is betting the river with like 5s. But blocking like some 9-10 suited and unblocking the king 10 king jack. This opponent playing 53 VPip as well is just going to have king jack offsuit every time and king 10 offsuit. So therefore I think I'm going to hero call this spot. because of that, and they're going to have some random like king 8 of clubs as well and stuff like that. Not king 8, like king 7 of clubs. So, I mean, yeah, they got queen 5 suited. They're going to have such a wide range there. So I think my call's fine. Deuces, we're bluffing. If opponent doesn't fold 2 pair, then this is going to be this bluff is going to be hemorrhaging. But it's just a spot where they shouldn't really be calling that much 2 pair, if I'm honest, because 8s is the player who called with queen 5 suited, so I'm sizing up. Yeah, it's just... Are they 4-bet? I won't be folding 8s. They could be 4-betting super wide. So I will call. Not the best flop. I'm going to fold now. I think a lot of their 4-bet bluffs are going to come from ace-x hands. They're not they're the type of player who's just never folding jacks, queens, kings regardless. And I think they're the type of player who is going to probably call 3 bets and not 4-bet with like king jack off type of hands. So I think just doing that makes sense. I.e. folding, I mean. Alright, against regs there, like 8 is probably going to be a pure continue with backdoor flush or backdoor straight draw, and you then try and bluff jacks and queens. But against that player who's just going to not fold those hands, that call's just going to be losing loads, and also because they don't have like king queen off, king jack off pre. But it's just not a particularly great spot to be floating. Got myself in a bit of a mess here with queen jack. Gonna fold. King jack, easy call. And just check. Okay. Thank you for the cheap showdown. Things have slowed down since that manic start. Been all in a lot in this session. These low-ish paired boards I'm going to probably range check, simplify. Check calling, I think, with a pair. Implied odds of hitting a 3 and stacking a 7. Facing turn barrel, 3 this is going to be an easy fold. I've got tons of ace-x in my range. Queen I'm going to start with a bet because I think that I can fold opponent on turns of rivers or some ace highs. And go half in on turn. And then I imagine they've got a lot of offsuit ace-x hands that call turn and then fold river, so I would triple against that player type. There's going to be 2 face up there. So I've almost bluffed any 2 against those types of players. King queen deep here. Gonna fold it. It's kind of low frequency 3-bet in those positions. Just deep stack, just going to prefer suited hands. Even though you're in position, you do still get to 3-bet. not like the normal range. It's more out of position. You want to shift your hand selection a bit. But king queen off there is going to be just a mix, I think, low frequency in these games. Against some players I'll do it pure, against some players I'll never do it. Just depends. King queen off. I think without a club this is not ideal, but I think we still do call a hand this strong. And then check fold that turn. River. I think I just want to bet 3 quarters against this player, to be honest. Nice. Against some regs, I would look to block there because I need to be more careful about my range. So I would develop some blocks, which just does allow me to stick some like thinner value bets in there in a wide range formation, like some 10x for example. Ace 9, I'm going to go for a check raise. Ace queen will check 3-way, and Ace 9 is kind of interesting. So this hand makes for a good check because I'm blocking calling ranges and I'm blocking bluffs, i.e. I'm blocking ace highs and I'm blocking bluffs from just heaps of hands. Whereas because this player is probably not going to be bluffing enough, I probably just prefer betting to protect against those overcards. Now I'm just going to bet pot and hope opponent calls with ace high. Like once they've checked twice, they're not going to bluff the river on such a dry board. They're just giving up the pot, or they've got king high. So just going to go pot down the river and hope they get sticky. I'm going to open 9-8 in a weak lineup. And so this deep, I'm not going to size up 3 bets because I don't get to fold opponent as much when we're really deep. When we're like 150 big blinds, I would go because then they do need to start folding more against big sizes. I'm not going to delve too much into that on stream. That's some of the stuff I would talk more about, or I think needs to stay behind paywalls. I am giving away a decent amount of information on my live streams as it is. Small 3-bet here, called with 8-9, easy call on the flop, easy call on the turn. Ace queen, I'll start small and barrel this on good runouts. 8-9 calling again, tons of equity. Opponent's range is probably quite strong for this size, to be honest, on this board. It's just not an attractive board to bluff. I imagine they've just got some ace king aces. And we just have an easy fold now. Ace queen against this. I'm going to go for a sneaky 3-bet because I don't believe it. I think it's full of shit. 8-9 fold. Yeah, this player does find just some spew raises, particularly against small sizes. And I'm blocking some king queen suited, some ace king obviously, and it's just, I think, going to be complete nonsense. And also just knowing that player, what I've seen before, they do raise garbage, basically. It's the reason there. And fish in general do raise too much, bluff raise too much in 3-bet pots. And then like I'm unblocking hearts as well, which is quite nice. So I can continue on non-heart runouts. Ace forward check. play a few more hands and then I'm going to end today's stream. Hopefully we can find 1 or 2 more spots. Things are quieting down after that manic start. I'm going to 3-bet this player on table 3. This hand's going to mix. They look pretty loose over 38 VPIP. Sevens, I think we can start with check. Nice turn. I think check again. I imagine I'm really like winning always here once they snap check, but I think checking is the makes the most sense in my hand. And river. Pretty grim one if I'm honest. They check twice and then bet on the king. I think against this player, unknown. 1 tabler, I am going to call because they could just be bluffing absolute garbage. Like I just see all the time from recreational. So while I don't love it, I think I am going to just click call. Nice. Jack 10 just doubling there to fold the ace highs and random like king 6 of hearts, stuff like that. Like we're seeing, like I've said, like recreational players call flop pretty wide and then therefore overfold turns. 10s are just going to flat, deep stacked. Flop, don't think I want to check raise this one, just a lot of bad runouts. We will call turn. And I think this one's probably going to fold river and we would prefer to call river with like some a7. So it's a brick call with a7 where I unblock more bluffs from like random queen 10, jack 10, stuff like that. The ace is somewhat irrelevant because I don't think opponents bet in the turn with ace-x hands. Because we're deep, they can check back the flop pretty strong as well, so we're just having an easy fold here. We can call some other stuff that I have in my range, like I've got plenty of ace-x, plenty of king-x. So 10's there, not blocking value, blocking bluffs is just an easy fold. Turning in, not quite sure what you mean by yesterday ace jack off 5-bet BB jam is my friend. Can you elaborate on that? Reasonable combo to check raise, I think the king 9. We do pick up equity, but this player is an absolute station, so we'll check. Just prefer other stuff here. They're not going to fold a top pair hand, so I think the idea here is just to gain my fold-x on the flop just from random hands that they're just going to c-bet with. That was interesting though. think I'm going to overbet this river now. I will get a decent amount of folds on that river. Nice. And my sizing is going to be polarised there. Betting flushes really only. Ace King, start half on this board, half would check, and Ace King's definitely betting. King 10, three-way, probably going to check this one, I think. Try and realise my backdoor equity. Nice turn. If check 2, probably will bet this. Seven 8 suited, we're going to call it a small 3-bet. It's button. Unknown player. Ace Jack suited flatting this time. Easy fold with 7 8. Ace Jack will check. King 10 will give up now. Don't like this combo to bluff with. Sevens we're calling. Deep stacks interesting. Interesting flop. Ace Jack, easy check. King 10 checking 3-way. Wow, Jack 9 off. Gonna stab the turn for small with sevens, just betting pretty wide here on the turn for small. I'm gonna 3-bet King 6 suited exploitedly because this player was the player who just called small blinding his middle position with Jack 9 off, so they're gonna have a super wide range, and I'm just gonna have a huge edge against them. Raise here makes not that much sense. Guess he has some ace 5, 4 5, 6 5, but I've got an easy call with the straight draw. Ace Queen, interesting. I think I'm going to check back the flop. I think hopefully get some delayed bluffs or delayed value from hands and opponent's range. King 10, yeah, I mean, how they don't see about that flop, I don't know. Ace Queen, I think I'm just going to call. And value at river for 3/4. That check on the river with King 10 is just criminal when they unblock like. I'm just gonna win there with like King Queen of clubs. Queen 10, I'm gonna 3-bet. Three-bet Ace King suited. We are deep. Yeah, turning in. Can you elaborate on that ace jack off thing you've written? I'm a bit confused. C-bet 10-9 backdoors, 3-bet pot. Nice board for my 3-bet range. Interesting turn. Kind of forces us to check and showdown now, I think. We still have a reasonable amount of showdown against like some ace-queen, small pockets. Blocking 10s is nice. That's going to feature heavily in opponent's range. We do lose to jacks and queens, but they should 4-bet at least sometimes. So probably gets half pots here. Gonna be a lot of king, queen, king, jack stuff, particularly if this player's calling offsuit combos, but I think just because they can float wide with like some queen, jack, backdoor flush draws, ace, queen, ace, jack stuff, at this price I am just gonna click call. 7-4 suited. Calling a 3-bet. Wow. 4-betting ace queen off. Good combo in these positions. That board's interesting. I'm going to start the small bet with this combo with the queen of clubs, ace of spades. It's not. I don't think it's in a 4-bet pot. In a 3-bet pot, it's a horrible board. In a 4-bet pot, I don't think it's quite as bad as it looks. Opponent's going to be more weighted towards having like ace queen suited, ace jack suited, king queen suited, as opposed to all of this stuff. Obviously, I do have some pairs, some suited connectors and stuff, but I think in general it's can be okay to see bet just because the ranges are just more weighted around like medium to high pockets and then all of the suited Broadway stuffs and then like ace king off. So I don't mind it against raise. I think I just have a fold when I'm blocking like some bluffs and flush draws and stuff, and could be drawing pretty dead. I'm going to barrel ace-9. Don't love this combo, but these players just call too wide on the flop, so I'm going to get a decent amount of folds here. Like blocking 9s is quite nice. I'm blocking like some ace jack of hearts, so it's just like the double barrel works well, but this time it doesn't, but it's fine. The data says it's good. Sixes with deep, gonna flat. And check again. Fours, half would check. I think some of these under pairs I'm gonna bet. Would prefer a club. I'm gonna barrel the turn. Sixes, I am gonna do this on the river, get called by ace highs. I think it's just about okay in these positions. Fours were over betting. Nice, 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 nice. These under pairs I think bluff quite a lot there. Can get called by worse as well, by like flush draws and straight draws. Jack 10 off would open in good lineups. 23 bigs, I think 8s is going to be fine to call off here. Yeah, I was going to say, this player normally plays like proper stacks, so with their short like this, and they've probably just lost a big pot on tilt and spewing or something. They do somehow win it. Big bet here, King Jack, I think. And that turn I'm gonna slow down with range and think my combo is definitely gonna check now. Probably just prefer like Queen Jack. So I'm gonna check this one. That's a nice river. Four-way here. Table 1, I am going to bet. Start small multi-way. I don't love this almost pot size. Not that many bluffs on this board, but I think could be like some ace queen. So I am going to have to call when I hit top pair on the river, I think. If they're playing properly, they're going to start bluffing some small, like some 5x as well. I think, so I am going to call, but I don't love this. I think I'd fold a lot of my bluff catches, but this hand I don't think I can. Yeah, nice bluff for opponent. Well, actually, I don't necessarily think they need to bluff that, thinking about it. Because if I bet small on the flop, then I think it does become a good bluff, because I'm going to have more like marginal hands. 8x, 9, 7s perhaps. Whereas when I bet big, I'm going to be more polarized, I think, to air and like over pairs or strong 10x plus. So I think they've got enough showdown based on that to just check and beat like ace king or bluff catch against like ace king, ace queen, like just random other stuff, king queen. So they might have perhaps got that slightly wrong based on flop sizing, but the idea I quite like. Half hit, 7-8 flush draw. Interesting spot with queens. Bad beat jackpot opportunity. Gonna go small. Hopefully opponent has jacks and 10s. And the river comes, the turn of river comes an ace. I'm gonna check now. And interesting, I'm gonna check call this river. It probably has enough bluffs from small pockets when I go 10% on the turn. Yeah, I beat like 9, so I think. Yeah. Nice. I value bet the river, but on the king of diamonds, so it's quite dicey because it's a spot where I might use the odd 10% against the fish, but actually there, like calling a raise would be pretty grim on that specific river. Ace 4 off is close, I think it's 2.5 in these games in the rake structure. 9-8, betting range here is going to be polarized, so I'm going to use over bets. I think this one's a nice one to choose. Jack 8 suited, I'd raise and C bet on this board. Half pot stab looks good. That's a nice river to bluff with on table 4. Now I'm just going to go 3/4 with my betting range. Just allows me to still bet some 2 pairs. just run out of bluff on that river, so I expect opponents to fold everything bar 2 pair, which seemingly they did, folded an ace. Like, just because my turn over bet range is going to be quite polarized to like 2 pair plus, or maybe ace queen plus, and then like bluffs, and the bluffs, because it's a rainbow board, are going to come from a lot of 6x, maybe some 3x as well, and then a hand like this, but mainly 6x, and they all improve, so maybe some bottom pair stuff as well, and bottom pair stuff is often then on that river going to improve to 2 pair of straights. So opponent checks back flop. I'm going to overbet this one on the turn, I think. Interesting, opponents gave up this board, which just smashes a calling range, so they're just not really understanding poker. They're just clicking buttons and fast playing, leaderboard, stuff like that, because that board, if they don't have a shade on hand, should be bluffing because it just smashes their calling range. So they can really put me in tough spots when they've got all the sets, straights, 2 pairs, etc. in range. Kings we are 4-betting, even with deep. But Kings is definitely 4-betting against a player who's probably 3-betting still a linear range that they do at 100 big blinds and not adjusting to deep stack play. And I'm going to make this Kings the last hand. Looks pretty grim now. I am calling. Well, not to be folding, but I hate this spot. Whether this opponent's finding enough 5-bet bluffs from like ace-5 suited is questionable. Whether it's always aces. One tabler. Can I fold Kings? My notes on them, they are pretty spewy. Against a one tabler, I don't think I could fold Kings. When I don't have a spade here, like it is a lot of aces, but it could just be like some ace-10 of spades now, ace-king of spades, ace-jack, maybe some overplayed queens is unlikely, but I don't think like I'm gonna fold. I don't love it though, but yeah, kind of, yeah, it's just always aces, isn't it? It's always aces. It's always aces. Pretty rough one to finish. Yeah, against 90% of the pool, like a lot of these Fisher eggs, I think I can just fold Kings here, honestly. But against the one tabler who is splashy, and not really, like, I'm kind of thinking about, the thing about this is I'm kind of thinking about the spot from like a solid foundation mindset, whereas this player isn't. They're just playing poker clicking buttons. Now the 5-bets are usually value heavy, but I do see just random clicking here from suited aces, ace jack off, ace queen off, some overplayed ace king off, because they don't get deep stack play either. They're just playing poker. They don't understand whether they're 100 big blinds or 200 big blinds. They're overvaluing hands. So against like the semi-nit Fisher egg type players, I'm probably folding Kings here, but against the splashy player, just don't think I can when there is just other stuff going on here. But I don't love it, to be honest. So yeah, nasty one to finish. We'll have an update on the results from the session. That's put us down. We are, oh, hang on a minute, let's make that bigger. Yeah, so we ended up losing about $100 this session. It was a bit of a roller coaster, a lot of all-ins, a lot of cool pots, I think. I'm pretty happy overall with the way I played. I'm not going to lose too much sleep with that last one. Like I said, just because of who the player was, I think it's fine. yeah, things don't always go perfectly. It's just a bit of a cooler, but yeah, I mean, people could argue that it's a fold. But in spots like that, when I don't necessarily know the opponent, like basically because I know the opponent's splashy, if I go the other way and overfold kings there, I think I'm going to be could be massively exploiting myself. Whereas I don't think it's bad getting kings in ever there, so I could take more consolation in that, I think. But anyway, that concludes the stream. If you aren't following me, then follow my channels, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that. Stay in touch with what I'm doing. Join my free Discord, where you can stay up to date with when I'm going live, when I'm posting content, videos, graphs, etc. And also follow my blog, Cool Hands. Keep up to date with all the deals I can offer you guys. And yeah, I'll be back next week for more streams. But for now, that's it today, guys. All right, take care, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day and weekend.